Now, Nashville is a leading destination in global tourism and healthcare, and it is our responsibility to set an example here in keeping our community safe. By taking serious short-term actions to limit person-to-person transmission now, our collective long-term outlook will drastically improve. The temporary closing of Nashville bars and limiting regular maximum seating at all Nashville restaurants is a serious public health decision, but one that will make, with expert advice here, a tremendous difference in preventing person-to-person virus transmission. Slow the spread. Now, a coordinated response is the most effective response. And again, I'm grateful to the churches, the schools, the sporting events, and other local businesses that have already closed, canceled events, or adjusted their practices to protect public health. Now, we are focused on our citywide coronavirus monitoring and response strategy. We will also find solutions that provide relief for business owners and employees. Now, I'm so thankful to everyone for their help in our efforts to respond to this virus and prevent its spread in our community. And we will continue to provide daily updates on our monitoring and response progress. There'll be another press availability tomorrow here at 1:30 to go over every day a response. All this is to get us back to normal as soon as possible, being respectful of all the challenges ahead. And again, with this, let me turn this over to Dr. Yanger. And again, the city is grateful to him and this board for directing our appropriate response to this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council, for being here. Good evening. As you all just saw, we just completed a meeting on the request of Mayor Cooper to address the public health emergency around COVID-19. We unanimously approved a public health emergency declaration for Metro Nashville. We did not do this lightly and understand the impact and how this will affect the many businesses and their employees. So until further notice, at Dr. Caldwell's discretion and recommendation, all bars on Lower Broadway and throughout Davidson County will be closed. Restaurants are to limit their regular maximum seating capacity to 50% of occupancy with no more than 100 individuals allowed. Restaurants will be defined as public facilities where food sales are more than 50% of revenue. Bar service at restaurants should be limited to 50% of capacity with no standing allowed. We also are asking all restaurants to take social distancing precautions, including spacing out tables. Restaurants are providing a service to feeding the public, and that's why we've made this exception. We appreciate the businesses, churches, schools, and others that have taken action on social distancing. We are taking these actions to protect the health of every person in our county and every visitor to our city. We must come together to take care of one another and include practicing social distancing, which inhibits the spread of the virus. If we take these steps in the short term, we'll be able to return more quickly to normal operations. Now, before I take questions, I do want to thank the organizations who are supporting this decisive action. These organizations include the Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, the Nashville Downtown Partnership, Vanderbilt University Medical Center, Greater Nashville Hospitality Association, Ryman Hospitality, Strategic Hospitality, Cumberland Hospitality, former Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist, who leads Nashville Health, and several others. With that, we'll open questions.
There's been a couple bars and restaurants that said that they won't follow this unless there's a mandate by the governor. What do you say to this?
Well, obviously this is an evolving situation. This will be addressed on a case-by-case basis. I believe we are in a situation where the state, the local communities, and the federal government are going to work closely as the nation finds the right strategy. We in Nashville feel that this is the right strategy. And again, the health department here, I think, is speaking very clearly. And now, information is the first part of this. It's very important for the media to get the information out. Obviously, this is an evolving situation, and this is the first, and that many people will have heard of this, frankly, and it is a big step, but it's one that I think we're resolved to do in the county, the nation, and internationally is following the same increasingly appropriate social distancing protocols and strategies.
How do you balance between public health and those who work at these bars and restaurants who just may have lost their homes in the tornadoes, and this is how they make their living day to day, who are now going to be out of work at bars whose patrons are not the most vulnerable? They're not the 60 and above. They're the younger crowd, and you're telling them they can't go to work tomorrow.
So I will tell you, the science has shown that flattening the curve is the most effective way to minimize this virus. While your statement may be true that perhaps, I don't know this with certainty, that most of the patrons to bars maybe are not in that high-risk group, these individuals can be carriers of the virus, and they can go home and spread it to their parents or grandparents, to maybe siblings that have medical conditions. So I think that one really has to look at the science here, and the science really says, I know this is hard, and this is not anything any of us are used to, but I really think the science has shown that this is the best way to minimize the impact of this virus in this short time we have.
When do these closures have to happen?
Mayor Cooper, I know, has spoken with the chief of police, and I will defer to them, but
Well, the board just passed this. Obviously, people don't know about this. There's a period of appropriate time of information to spread. And with that, I expect them to, comply once they're fully informed. Obviously, the next 24, 48 hours is going to be a period of informing people what Nashville's social distancing protocols look like. It is, to go back to the earlier question, of course, it's heartrending. It's the employees that I worry most about and the small businesses, but they're part of the community too, and they need to be safe too. So part of this is keeping employees safe, right? So this is the accepted strategy to do that, to keep the whole community and employees safe. That's our first priority, is the community. And then we're going to work back and try to create a level of help to each of these individuals. And particularly after the tornado, it is a problem. Of course, we recognize that as a problem. First goal today is to keep the whole community safe.
So I think everybody's gotten the actual board action, and we're going to have another update at 1:30 tomorrow. So we'll be wrapping this up and going. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Can I just ask one question, please? I just want to know, just personally, is this worse than the AIDS virus? And I just need to know, is it worse than the AIDS virus? And if we lose our jobs because of business shutting down, how will we be able to pay our lights next month? So that means we'll be in the dark? Or?
So regarding the virus, I think this is unlike any virus we've I think seen in recent times. And as far as I know, the pandemic of 1918, they call that the Spanish flu, was pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But this is new. This is not. I think I can't overemphasize this. This is not your typical flu. This is not your typical cold. This is something this entire world has never seen, and that's part of what's causing the challenges and why people are getting sick and not having immunity, and why we're taking important steps to minimize the impacts of the community. As Mayor Cooper said, the economic impact of the city, it's early to tell, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of hardships, and I hope that federal, state, city, and other resources help keep people whole. And I'm not the right person to answer that question, but it's hard. I understand.
So it's worse than AIDS?
I don't think the two diseases can be. I think they're just different, right? So I don't think that's a fair statement to say.
Thanks, everyone. Again, we'll be doing daily updates, so
Are you
we'll
able to
be
say
in touch.
the mayor's talked to the governor about this?
I will have to check back and let you know. Yeah, I'm not.
decision on this.